Sorry it's late. My wife's gonna strangle me for doing this. I'm gonna finish this video. Welcome back to our Blessed Performance YouTube channel. Wanted to make a quick 5-10 minute video talking about shift points. We get asked this all the time. Of course, we're the only ones that offer you the selection of what shift points you would like. So I wanted to chat about that. We did our transmission relearn video, and in that I explained a little bit about it, and then did the transmission relearn process as well. Well, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into shift points and what they mean, what you should be doing with your truck. Obviously, what you should be doing, number one, is what you prefer. That's why we give you an option. Yes, I have my preference. I like butterscotch. A lot of you guys may not like butterscotch. Just to give you an example, I like my steak medium rare. Some might like it well done. Same concept. You have 3 options on our website. You got stock, mild, or race version. Essentially, stock is we're gonna leave the shift points exactly where they are from the factory. To put that in perspective for you guys, and this is just one shift point that I want to talk about. From 5th gear, not 4th, 5th gear to 6th, your truck is designed at less than 5% throttle to shift from the factory into overdrive at 27 miles per hour. I can't stand that. Gosh, that's laggy. I don't like that. You may like how it's to shift stock. A couple things can happen when you're shifting too early. You can feel boggy, laggy, and create black smoke. Black smoke's not fun. We're not here to create black smoke. We're here to create horsepower, move some air through the engine so we can add some fuel, so we can make the truck more powerful, more fuel efficient, increase the atomization of the truck. There's something to say about lower RPMs to keep the truck in, to get the truck lower the RPMs, mileage. Yes, that calculation works out. But there's also something to say about load, engine load. Engine load is a big factor in the mileage. And that's where we talk about the shift points. If you watch your engine load, you'll see that, say you shift into overdrive at 27 miles per hour and you're cruising through town, cruise control set at 30 and you're in overdrive, and it comes a hill, the truck's gonna wanna hold that gear. Comes up a little here, you watch your load go straight to 99% so it can work hard to climb that hill without downshifting. You're not getting mileage then, because you're working the engine. Now, if you were in 5th gear at 30, or 3rd gear at 30 miles an hour, or either one of those gears, and you're at 2,000 RPMs, truck's a little bit higher, screaming, but you get to that same hill, it doesn't have to throttle to get going up that hill. So by doing that, the load doesn't go through the roof. So you actually gain mileage while climbing a hill versus the ladder. A lot of this is just personal preference. That's why we put the options on the website. So stock shift points are stock. Mild is 25% more than stock, the best way to put it, really. And then race is 50% more. Does that have to play with line pressure? Really, yes and no. Obviously, when a pump is spinning faster, it creates more pressure. So in the transmission, when your pump is spinning faster because you're shifting at a higher shift point, you're gonna have a little bit higher pressure. We have limits built into what it can shift at. And realistically, we leave those the same across the tune, any tune that we offer. That being said, the RPMs that it's spinning are gonna give you the pressure that it's allowed to get. So this is a very sensitive point that I wanted to talk about and bring up, okay? A lot of guys don't know what they want because they've never done it, or they've never had the option. They've just been, that's what you're getting, that's what you're gonna like. We did that for a long time, but then we learned and we grew and we understood that, okay, some customers might like it a different way than what we like it. Well, I like it. So then we gave some options. That helped and then also caused some confusion. Not trying to cause confusion, that's what we're trying to make this video about. Transmission shift points are crucial to your experience of your daily driving. That's why we made the transmission relearn video. It's important for it to do that. When do you think about going to more than stock? Well, for me, on a stock truck, on the truck I did the video in, that's my race shift points. I keep it on that 24/7, 365. I like to fill my truck shift. I don't like lag, so I like it to shift higher in the RPMs. For your 5R110, let's get a fact clear here. Your truck does not shift based on RPMs unless you are at foot to the floor, wide open throttle. That is the only time your truck will shift based on RPMs. Foot to the floor, wide open throttle. The rest of the time it's based on throttle percentage and mile per hour. So that's something important for you to know so you can understand what you're getting, and then if you need a revision, you can let me know what you need revised. It's a talking point that I talk about almost daily because customers call and ask questions about the shift points. So I want to make this video to hopefully help some people and the odd chance that we're not on the phones. You're watching this video on YouTube on a Friday night drinking a beer, you know? And you're like, I'm getting ready to order some tunes. Well, which one do I want? You come here and you watch this video and you learn a little bit about it. I'm not gonna go out and put a different thing into every truck or into a truck and change it a whole bunch of times, and because that can get a little confusing, I think. I just wanted to chat about shift points. So, realistically, the bigger the turbo, in my opinion, and in many other professionals out there opinion, the bigger the turbo, if you go anything past stock when it comes to a turbo, you shouldn't be running on a stock shift point. You're trying to keep the RPMs up. The goal is to keep the RPMs up. The RPMs are up, the turbo is not lagging. Simple as that. The more the engine is rotating, the faster it's rotating, the more air it's moving, the faster it's spinning the turbo. Someday soon, I'm gonna make a video with a big trailer hooked up behind me, and I'm gonna go out and tow. And I'm gonna show you guys this as well. Okay, that video's probably got who knows, I'm not gonna lie to you, it might be a month or two till I get a chance to make that video. But I'm gonna make that video, I'm gonna go out and tow. I'm gonna tow with a stock shift point, a mild, and a race. I think that's gonna be a better time to show you guys these different situations and show you what I do when I'm towing, especially with a 6 liter. It's important. 6 liters are wonderful trucks. But it's funny, I had a conversation just the other day, about a 40-minute conversation with a young man. He's tried every else tunes in the country, and he wants to try ours, and he's trying to figure out what to order. Well, this young man thinks that, and maybe this is just because of what he's heard on the internet, maybe it's because it's what he's hoping for, but you also have to have a realistic expectation of your truck. Your 6.0, as great as these trucks are, and as good as they do tow, they need RPMs to tow. They want RPMs. They do not thrive at 1200 RPMs. This is not an inline engine, this is not a Cummins. They don't thrive at 1200. They don't make power at 1200. Your truck starts making power around 2000 RPMs. Really, depending on the camshaft and a couple other setups, that's really where it starts making power, okay? It might start spooling about 1500 in some setups. Even that's not realistic to tow at. So, the gentleman I talked to, he wants to tow in overdrive at 55 miles an hour. Not gonna happen on a 6.0. Not towing 20,000 pounds. Not towing 16, not towing 12. You can do it, but you're gonna have some high EGTs, especially with bigger injectors. You're gonna have some high EGTs. Bigger injectors and a bigger turbo, you're gonna have some EGT problems at that. That's where the shift points really play into effect here. You need to know your setup and you need to understand it. Realistically, if you're gonna ask Matt for Matt's opinion, okay, because that's what everybody does. And I respect it, because that's where, you guys come to me for the professional opinion, and I wanna share as much as I can. But then again, I also don't want to force you into something, because that's not how we do things. We don't just force you into something to sell you something. The goal is to get you something that you're gonna be happy with. So, if you're asking for my opinion, and this is of course relative to the build. If you have a stage 1 turbo or less and 175/30s or less, this is what I recommend to those customers, and this is what I've seen be the most efficient. I hope that thing's not overpowering. The most efficient I've seen for those customers has been for Tow Boss and EcoBeast Tow, our tow tunes, mild shift points, adding overdrive lockout. For EcoBeast Street, I recommend for those customers stock shift points. Because when you're on the EcoTune, you want to get into overdrive as soon as possible. I get that. You think you're striving for mileage. You got some power, but you're also striving for mileage. Overdrive lockout, in my opinion, goes on every tune on EcoBeast Street. A lot of customers don't want it, and that's fine. You don't have to have it. When it comes to extreme or the Blessed Extreme Performance or our track and sled pull tune, race shift points only. I don't even give the option on the track and sled pull tune. It's my personal race shift points, which is more than my normal race daily driving shift points, I guess. So the race shift points are what I drive, the ones that you guys can select on the website. That shift point is what I daily drive on my truck. But like I said, I like my steaks mildly rare. You guys might like them medium rare or medium or well done. You may want that thing to be dead 16 times before you eat it. I don't like that. I like to still moving a little bit. Needless to say, race shift points are what I run, but I understand that that's not what everybody else likes. So that's why we made some changes, because we wanted to try to evolve and grow to help our customers better. Let's talk about overdrive lockout a little bit. Overdrive lockout, what is it? Torque converter lockup is what some people confuse it as. So the torque converter can lock all the way down into first gear. Pretty much if you're not at the drag strip, you wouldn't like first gear lockup. Most people don't even like second gear lockup. If you're looking for something to recommend, I would say maybe try the Extreme with third gear lockup. That's pretty fun. That gets pretty rowdy, okay? The point of the lock in the converter is to put the power to the ground. Boom, done. That being said, it also could create some lag if you're not at the right RPM range and make the truck feel sluggish. Keep that in mind. I do not recommend that in an Ecobee street tune, or towing is great when you're in the RPMs. I recommend that with the race shift points, but overdrive lockout is not torque converter lockup. Finessing the torque converter lockup can be really challenging, but that's where I'm trying to make this video so you, the customer, can say, Matt, I'm going this speed, doing this, and the converter's not coming unlocked, or it's unlocking and I want it to stay locked, vice versa. And that's important for me to know. If I don't know that, I can't help you. That being said, overdrive lockout is locking the truck out of overdrive. So a lot of people, before you bought a 6.0, you drove a 7.3, 99 to 03 7.3. 99 to 03 7.3s in their time were marvelous trucks. Now they're just slow dinosaurs, but they're cool trucks, but they're nothing power-wise when it comes to a 6.0. I promise you, your 285 injectors and your turbo, or your non-VGTs, or your T4 swap turbo are not going to keep up with a 6.0 with the same amount of fuel and air. Promise you. Just not going to happen. 6.0 lights, boom, gone. That being said, I'm not talking trash on the 7.3s. I'm using them as a reference point. The folks who owned a 7.3 before owning a 6.0, an automatic one, can recall you would tap that little button on your shifter. That's overdrive lockout. That just won't let the truck go in overdrive. That's what we're doing with overdrive lockout on your 6.0. Yes, we're locking the converter in 5th gear, but we're also making it to where the truck will not go into overdrive unless you're going way too fast, and I don't remember off the limit off the top of my head, but you're going way too fast and you blow up the engine and you scatter it, then it might be able to shift because you're going that fast in 5th gear. Well, this thing's not allowed to spin that fast. We set the rev limiter lower than that, so you'll never ever go into overdrive when you use overdrive lockout. And that's really cool feature. It's absolutely stellar. There's so many ways to use overdrive lockout. I honestly wish every customer asked for it on every tune, and you can, special request, you can ask for that. Overdrive lockout, where is it useful? So many places. We'll start with number one. Number one place that it's useful is you're on the highway, 70 miles an hour, downtown Phoenix, Arizona, and you get some Mustang pull up next to you, 5.0, and he's just trying to taunt you. We know he can light faster than you. He's just got to roll into it a little bit, boom, gone. Well, you got this little secret button. You tap that tow haul. The awesome part about it is your foot doesn't have to move. The truck downshifts, goes to 2,400 RPMs, turbo lights, and you leave. As simple as that. And you walk away from that 5.0 Mustang, and he pulls up next to you once you let out of it and you let him catch up, and he says, holy shit, excuse my language, what in the hell done to that damn 6-liter? You might have been like blowing some white smoke because you're pushing coolant as you're beating him, but you're having fun along. That's one point where it's just fun to use. The other point is, you're like me and you hate when your truck goes into overdrive in town. Just put it in tow haul mode. It will never go in overdrive. It won't. The most important thing for me, because a lot of people might give me, not a lot of people, some people give me a hard time about not having a full out race truck from a 6.0. You know, I've contemplated, and I've decided at some point I want to retire in my life. I'd rather invest my money in retiring versus building a full out race truck. We've had some fun. We've built some really cool ones. We're involved with so many of them out there. And I help a lot of people out there with their trucks. We're gonna have a truck at UCC that we've been heavily involved with this year. And needless to say, hopefully it goes out and performs well. You never know. It's like football. Any day, best team in the league could lose to the worst team in the league. So hopefully it goes out and performs well. Either way, it's awesome to see that truck make it there. It's been slowly working it up, but I'm not gonna reveal the truck. You guys will have to come out to UCC to see it, or watch our YouTube for that. I focus on, because I personally tow all the time, whether it's my camper, my 40-foot trailer with quads to go up and play with the kids, towing trucks, helping customers. I'm always towing all the dang time. It seems like all the time. Going to shows, towing the dyno and a truck on the dyno or behind the dyno or whatever, towing the enclosed trailer with all the goodies to give you guys and sell and bring stuff and showcase. Either way, I'm always towing, so I focus more on the towing and the daily use operation. Some of you don't know this, I do some contracting stuff on the side, and just for the fun of it, and I have a dump trailer, and we go out and we tow. I've been doing that, hauling scrap metal, gosh, many years doing that. I've always needed my truck to tow, so I focused on the tow and the daily drive and work trucks. That's what I focused on. That's my customer graphic, that's who I was aiming for to work with. Can we do the race truck stuff? You betcha. I know how to do it. I've done it. I've helped a lot of guys build it. I've built some pretty cool stuff myself. Never pushed it to the UCC level myself. You know what? Charlie Fish does a marvelous freaking job at it, supporting the 6.0s. Warren Diesel did an absolute wonderful job of it, supporting the 6.0 crowd. So I'm not at all trying to take away from anything those guys are doing, and proud to call them our 6.0 group. So personally, as much as I love doing that, I live in an area where I can't even race on a weekend. Like, I gotta drive 3 hours to go to a racetrack. And then 6 months out of the year, if I were to build a racetrack, you can't use the damn thing because there's so much snow and ice on the ground. So in our area, a race truck is really hard to justify building because I have to drive so far to even use it. So back to what I focused on. In my area, I camp, tow, I hunt, all that stuff, you know? Got an older boat, got an older camper, got some older quads, had some, you know, needed something to tow them with. So that's where I focused on the tow world. It's where this guy comes in, it tows like a dream. Anyways, back to what I was talking about, the overdrive lockout with towing, okay? I wasn't trying to get too sidetracked, I was just kind of trying to talk and justify a little bit. So overdrive lockout for towing, it's a godsend. All right, that's the best way to put it. Absolutely a must-have in a tow setup. That's the reason we include it on the EcoBeast tow automatically. You can add it to anything else, you can just request it. That air compressor. Anyways, you're on the highway, you're cruising at 75, 70 miles an hour, you're in overdrive, 1800 RPMs, right in there. Truck's doing fine, temps are good, but you see the hill that you always have to put your foot into the throttle to get up it. Well, you tap that tow haul button, you don't have to move your foot at all, you don't have to add any extra fuel, the truck automatically drops down a gear, climbs RPM to 2600 RPMs, spools the turbo, and climbs the hill. You get to the top of the hill, you take it out of overdrive, and you let it go down the other side of the hill, and let it cool back down. Nope, your EGTs didn't go through the roof, but because you're spinning faster RPMs, your coolant and oil temps that went up a little bit. Pretty normal. You're making the engine work a little bit harder, and we use oil different than anybody else, so we're shearing that oil every time it goes through an injector. So you're heating that oil up a lot. Back to, you know, talking about to the guy I was talking about that was trying to tow at 55 miles an hour in overdrive. I had this talk with him. I had to explain to him that the 6.0, as marvelous as it is not designed to do 55 miles an hour with the cruise control set, towing 16,000 pounds. It's just not designed to do it. And then you add a bigger turbo and bigger injectors to the equation, and it's just gonna melt things down like crazy. You're gonna be doing 1,400 RPMs and 14,000 degrees in EGTs. That's what's gonna happen. And you're gonna crack pistons, you're gonna hurt engine, you're just gonna hurt the truck constantly. RPMs are your friend. They are not your enemy, especially in this bad boy. RPMs are your friend, they are not your enemy. Remember that. The trick is the 6.0 is not a 6.7 Powerstroke, it's not a 6.7 Cummins, it's not an L5P Duramax. It is not designed to, with the torque that it takes to run at lower RPMs. It's just not designed to do it. It's not designed to do that, okay? Understanding that about your 6.0 and owning the fact that you have a marvelous engine that's a little bit older in time and that needs a little bit of help and understanding from you, the operator, to make it work properly is going to go a long ways in your experience of towing and daily driving a 6.0. When you understand that, you'll be able to learn to work that truck and bring more out of it than you've ever brought out of it in your entire time of owning it. By knowing that you actually have to downshift at 70 to climb the hill, and we can make it super easy, just a tap of a button, and then going back into overdrive by taking it out of tow haul. Tow haul with overdrive lockout becomes tow haul from 1st to 5th and a manual shift point from 5th to 6th. You manually tell it when it can go into 6th gear, or manually tell it, I don't want to be in 6th gear anymore. That's as simple as it gets. That's the best way to break this down so that you can understand it and see how valuable that is for you. It is a marvelous tool to use when towing with a 6.0 Powerstroke. I hope this helps you pick your shift points. I hope this helps you better understand them. Shift points are mild, race, and stock available. Stock is going to shift into overdrive around 30 miles an hour. Mild is going to shift into overdrive around 40 miles an hour. Race is going to shift into overdrive around 50 miles an hour. That's also based on where you live and where you drive. If you drive in an area that's, you know, speed limit's 45, the mild are probably going to work really good for you. Mild or stock. If you drive in an area that the speed limit's 55, race is going to be probably the best. the next thing to talk about that is, when it comes to shift points, is think about my talk about 175/30s and a KC Stage 1 or a Stage 1 VGT in general. Anything from that and lower, I recommend mild shift points. Anything from that and up, I recommend race on it all. That's just the way that I view the bigger turbos and the bigger injectors. They can create smoke when there's lag. Well, what's lag? Lag is low RPMs. Getting the RPMs up gets rid of the lag, gets rid of the smoke, uses the fuel, properly atomizes the fuel to get rid of the black smoke, and increases your fuel mileage. All of that's a win. Anyways, I hope this helps. I hope this helps you understand what we're doing with the shift points better. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. I'm not making this video to stop getting calls. I'm making this video to help the guys that are gonna watch this video on a weekend when we're not open and want to order tunes. And they're like, well, I don't know what I'm ordering. I'm just gonna order and hopefully I get it right. Well, I want you to be educated. I want to share information. We share information here at Blessed Performance. I've got so many videos planned. I just gotta get time to make them all. About so much information with you guys. We're gonna continue to do that. We're gonna keep doing that. We've already done it a whole bunch in the past. It's not changing. We're gonna keep doing that going forward in 2024. We're gonna keep sharing and sharing and sharing, so that way our customers can have as much information that they could possibly need to build their truck to suit their needs, because everybody needs something different. That is the best way to put it, is the 6.0, when any truck is mass produced, it's mass produced for everybody. When you go buy it and you're like, well, this isn't right for me, what do I do to fix it? You call us here at Blessed Performance, 1-800-577-2698. We talk to you about what you're doing with your truck. Then we can really dial in what we would recommend, because we've built it, we've done it, we've tested it, we've driven it. We have done so many different setups when it comes to turbos and injectors that I can share that information with my customers. I wish I would have started a YouTube channel 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 8 years ago when I started Blessed Performance, because man, I could have shared, I didn't think about it. I didn't know it was that big of a deal. And then 2020 happened and it was the most popular thing there was. So I'm the dummy that missed that, I agree. But I learned and we're growing, and I'm here to share the information, and I'm gonna share as much as I can as we go through some trucks, as we build some things. We've got a big single cab that we're gonna build for like hardcore off-roading. We've got King Twins that we're gonna do some more work to. We're gonna change up the turbo setup. We're gonna change up the fueling. We're gonna get it out and we're gonna go show you guys some stuff. And we've got my Harley truck that we're gonna do some cool stuff too. And we got the silver crew cab that right now I don't really know what to do with it. That being said, I really appreciate you guys, folks that follow us, like us, subscribe, all that good stuff. Give us the opportunity to help you. Call in. I'm grateful for it. My team's grateful for it. Please click the like, subscribe, and we look forward to a lot of awesome videos in 2024. Go check out our Instagram, our TikTok, our Facebook. I think we got LinkedIn and Twitter as well. And I hope this helps. I know it's just kind of a TED Talk or whatever they call that. I think that's what they call it, the term now. We're just sitting there talking. Podcast, that's what it is. I got it. Anyways, this is like a podcast, I get it. I'm not trying to bore you. I hope this helps you understand things. And hopefully here pretty soon, we will be making a video of us installing a compound kit on an OBS. It's right behind us, so you guys can see that as well.